Michelle can't make it, so I hope that's all right. So in you, call will ma. Oh yeah, sorry, I was looking at our study plan. Actually, now that that's what I was literally looking at, and I was about to fill in before I came on. Christmas exam. Okay, so this is what I want to do for the Christmas exam. So I'm going to tell you what's going to be on it. Now, initially, when I started this course, I was going to like come on as a live and like do the Christmas exam with you. But then I was like, realistically, like you should just have a reading comprehension done and you'd be like going on to maybe your poetry question, and then it would all, then we'd run out of the hour or whatever. So I don't know, like, should we, so say, like, obviously I'm back in college myself, and our Christmas test, or our semester one test is on at the beginning of December. And the way they're doing it is they're sending it out to us like 5 minutes beforehand. And we have 3 hours to do it and then send it back. And like, if we send it, like, I think if we don't send it back by like 3:10, it like won't be accepted. So I don't think we have to be online or anything. I think it's just like they send it to our email, we fill it out. It's like a Word doc, I think, and we have to send it back within the 3 hours. So I was thinking, maybe should we like do, now again, I understand you all have busy lives, so I'm like, should we do it on a certain day? Like, or even if I said for maybe that, now I would really like to see you though before we break up for Christmas. So I'm like, oh, should we maybe leave that Monday and maybe start it from 6 till 8? I don't know. I want you to maybe have a think about it and feed back to me. We can talk about it in the WhatsApp group. Just kind of feedback to me what you think. But I'm going to tell you what's on your Christmas test, okay? Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what's on it, but I'm going to tell you the section. So I want you are going to attempt a full reading comprehension for me, okay? So a Lev Hishkins, I'm going to write in or in English beside it, a reading comprehension. You will have a poetry question. I'm going to come back now and explain all this. You will have a prose question, okay, or a story question, and you will have a Shra Picture to say, okay? Now, choice between two. So you're going to have a choice between two in all of the poetry, the prose, and the Shra Picture, okay? So basically, I'm going to do it the way it's done in the actual exam. So you're going to get two poems, right? You do one of them. You're going to get two stories, two exam questions. You do one of them. I'm going to give you two Shra Pictures. You do one of them. But I want you to send me you saying it, okay? So I think the easiest way to do that is send it to me via WhatsApp voice note, okay? Just saves you having to like upload files, etc., etc. And what I do is when I listen to them on WhatsApp, I actually make notes as I'm listening to it, so I can feed it back then through a Zoom. Okay, I'll actually type up my feedback and I'll be able to feed your Christmas exam feedback through a Zoom. Okay. So I'm just going to show you the breakdown of this. So the Lev Hishkin, sorry, is 50 marks. The poetry is 30. Again, I'm keeping it the same as the Leaving Cert, and then your Shra Picture is, so it will actually be out of 70 marks because there's 10 marks. So even though the Shra Picture is 80 marks, 10 of those marks is for the Keshtana, which we haven't like really gone into in too much detail as of yet. So I'm going to mark it out of 70. That's out of what, 180, is it? Well, my really bad math skills, 180 marks. Okay. So you just feedback to me, should we dedicate a Saturday morning, even a Friday evening? Look, I can, where I send it and you just send it back within a couple of hours. I suppose, look, we do need to practice our timing as well. We'll be able to do that in more detail now in February. So like I'll dedicate a day to that or 2 days to that in February because I'm here, where we will like do a full-on mock, okay, kind of live, I suppose. But again, we'll talk about that near the time. So that is the Christmas exam. But ideally, I would like to maybe have a class on the 18th, just because I think I won't see you then for 2 weeks, right? Because then it's Christmas, like it's literally Christmas week. So I'm like, I would really like to have a class that week. But again, I understand it's a really busy time of year. So you let me know what you prefer. I'll put up kind of like a poll or whatever in the WhatsApp group, okay, later on. And we can go from there. So sorry, that's what I was literally about to fill in when I signed on. Okay. Right. Let's have a look at our other for an Tachtan Seo. So guys, brief for nua on Tachtan Seo. Fógar is to announce. So I chose this traffic, or I chose this breather because I thought it'd be a really good one to use in your traffic door if you took the notion. So like Dógar on Moonsor. So I was thinking, you know, the Brota or Skull one, where she's sick at school and she's doing the geography test. Like Dógar an Múinteoir go raibh scrúdú tíreolalas ar siúl. So I'm actually going to write that in Zoom chat. So Dógar, so the teacher announced that there was a geography exam. Go Dógar an Múinteoir go raibh scrúdú, because that's what it says on the wall. Scrúdú tíreolalas ar siúl inniu. On Lóishin maybe, because it's past tense. So the teacher announced that there was a geography test on that day. Okay, again, just how you would use it in Sanam Shakatsa. So I suppose continuing on from last week and the week before, where I was talking about certain verbs that have like follow ray vocals. So we're very used to saying a conch Gaeilge, talking Irish, right? But realistically, we speak it, okay? So eglort Gaeilge, okay? So you might hear me say eglort Gaeilge a lot, or Gaeilge Lorha, right? Which is Gaeilge Lorha. Gaeilge Lorha is spoken Irish, okay? So like chun fiabhsa cur ar ma Gaeilge Lorha to improve my spoken Irish. Okay, Bíam ag glórt le Áine, I am speaking with Áine. Or bhí na cailíní ag glórt le na céile, they're speaking together, right? So we're speaking to one another. So again, it's just moving away from a conch. Not that there's anything wrong with a conch. There really isn't. It's just, it's very like primary school, and by all means you can go over and back between a conch and agus ag glórt. But again, we would just use a glort more as Gaeilge speakers, okay? Right, and and I suppose to add in with lower, le follows lower, right? So biggie ag glort Gaeilge lum. I'm just going to write this. So this is the slogan. If any of you follow or work in secondary schools, or maybe have students in secondary school. So Gaeilge Fiche sa Cahir happened last week, I think. And you know, on their t-shirts, on the T-lanas for Connor na Gaeilge, it's Biggie or Biggie ag Lord Gaeilge lum, I think is what it is. And lum, with me, speak Irish, be speaking Irish with me, okay? So like bhí me ag glórt leat, I was speaking with you. Or just bhí me ag glórt le Sean, I was speaking with Sean. We kind of even in English use the verb or use the ray vocal with or to, okay? With, you know, I was speaking to him, I was speaking with him. So just to be aware of that. And then the next one is inish, right? So to tell. So again, like Dinish me on scale though. Okay, Dinish me on scale though. I told a story to him. Okay, I told a story to them. Right, Dinish me on scale though. I told a story to them. I use that quite a bit in traffic doors, so you've probably seen it before. So when you're talking about inish, okay, it uses the ray vocal though, okay, after it. And then just telling when it's in a briefer form. So telling is ag insint. Okay, just in case you're wondering, because obviously the spelling does change a bit. Now, the seanachal an tachtan seo is an rud is anamh is iontach, which means what is seldom is wonderful. So look, I know you obviously can understand what that is. So whether it's like a day off, a moment of silence, 5 minutes to yourself, an rud is anamh is iontach. Again, it might be a nice one to bring into your shopping or your chora. You have a very busy life, you've kids, you've just you work, you study, blah, blah, blah. So, when you get time off, maybe when you're talking about your Saoire na Cosca, your Easter holidays, maybe you're going to take a bit of time off, yeah, because you will have just done the oral, etc., etc. So it's a nice seanachal, and it's a seanachal that isn't overused. So it's not one that everyone would automatically know. Okay, and then the reason I picked this Nahana Kancha, Kumaleshin, which is as well as that, is because it is the one that is the most misspelled Nahana Kancha. Okay, a lot of people spell it like this, and this is wrong. Okay, a lot of people spell it like that, Kumaleshin, and the reason they do is because that's kind of how it's said, Kumaleshin, because lesh and shin are together. So just to be aware of that, because again, there will be people who'll be looking at that. Okay, so I just want to quickly check in, because obviously we're in the thick of it now. Okay, so if you just want to fill in your box just how you're getting on, again, I always look back at these, so don't worry, I'm not going to single anyone out at the moment, but I just want, because you are all great students and you just do your work, and no one really ever contacts me, so I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm constantly thinking about you and wondering how you're getting on. So if you can let me know, what did you learn, how are you getting on, how are you finding everything, how do you feel about the Christmas test? Just let me know, okay? You might be all cursing me about Christmas test, but I think it would be good for you, yeah? For you all to have a Christmas test. See if you can go onto your box and let me know, because I haven't, for some of you, I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't, got up or volley off a couple of you in a week or two, because I know you're busy, and that is absolutely fine. The homework is completely optional, but just how are you getting on? In my other course, I have a boy who's just completely gone off the radar. I've texted him, I've emailed him, I've Instagrammed him. I'm now I'm starting to wonder, is he okay? Is he, So yes, he had been in contact with me weekly up until I started the course, and now he's nowhere to be found. So it's just funny how things happen. So I'm is anyone there? Are you still learning Irish? Yeah. And guys, look, if it's any consolation, I know how hard it is studying and working at the same time. I have, as I said, a Christmas exam on the 9th of December. My Christmas party is the 8th of December. So it is what it is. But yeah, look, just has to be done. We just hope for the best with this first exam of semester 1, because I'm not feeling great about it, I'll be honest. So, but look, we're all in it together. Okay, good. And yes, I must just say, I just see there, Nigel, you're talking about Ahria Rosa. I only copped when I was talking to Michelle, and she said, I don't think you translated Ahria Rosa, and for whatever reason I didn't. Now, I did tweak it a little bit again. If anyone watched the recording or even looked at it, I did tweak it a little bit again, just because obviously Storm Debbie and stuff like that. So I just wanted to I won't change it again now, right? I promise I won't change it again now that I've the recording made. But yeah, so definitely, and we're going to do Skebla Horach. So I definitely would learn Ahria Rosa if I was you. I think it would be really worth learning. And look, with Chorus Educus, with Course Educus, like, look, I wouldn't be saying learn it like you'll see in the Christmas or in the Christmas exam. I haven't like said like, or in your study plan, I haven't said like learn it straight away, just because I want to just sit it out a little bit and kind of see where I'm going with what exactly I want you to learn. Talk to other teachers, see what they're doing, what topics they're getting their students to focus on. So, but I definitely Ahurea Rosa would be one of them. All right. Okay. So that's why I have in your upper valid this week, just kind of really get to grips with the opening and ending. Okay. So, right. Okay. And you can keep filling that in because, or like if you get a chance, or if you either go back. And again, as always, like feedback, you can text me anytime. Never feel bad about contacting me. Like, I love when people contact me because, you know, it means you're inquiring about stuff or you have a question that I can answer, you know, never, anytime. Like, I will only ever answer when I can. So, you know, don't ever feel like you're annoying me. That's my job. Okay. That's what I'm here. I'm your moon tour. So what do we know about An Tara Keir? So An Tara Keir, I think, could very well be one of the poems that is on the paper this year. So how did we get on with it? Did we get a chance to look at it? If so, can you go into your Busky and Inish them? So come on. So, you know, we always have to think with the poetry, like, what is the message of the poem? Because the message of the poem is going to be your 15-mark question. Okay. And the thing is, like, we need to not overthink the poetry in the prose section. Yes, we want to try and get as much marks as we can in both sections, but it's not where it's not going to make or break our grade, right? The essay is going to make or break our grade. The oral is going to make or break our grade, you know. So we just gotta like learn the information and get it down on paper. You know, we spend so much time like looking at poems. Students spend so much time on poetry and prose, and like, you know, it's taken away from other things. So that's why I really want, like, I've been looking at, like, we've gotten through a lot. And what I was actually saying to my sixth years is, I am only going through in live lessons what I deem to come up on the paper. Now, I could be wrong, and none of the three of them might come up, right? I would be shocked. Like, it's never happened to me where I've predicted wrong. Okay. Now, I play it safe. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, that will definitely come up. Just learn the one. I would be saying to you, learn the three poems and learn two prose. And even now, like me just saying learn two prose is a bit of a risky move, but I really think one of them is going to be there. So I really don't see why I'd learn three. But like, you know, one of those three poems and one of those two prose will definitely be there. So with the ones I'm not covering in live lessons, I will do similar to what you've been getting with the recorded, you know, me going through the PowerPoint, you know, and then me updating or uploading the PowerPoint and anything else I deem to be important with it. And obviously a sample answer. But other than that, and I'll probably give that as like Christmas work for you just to have a look at. and see what you think. But, you know, the ball, and I would say that with all of my students, you know, 6 years, repeat students, whoever, like, the ball will be in your court, whether or not you want to learn them. I'm not making you, but some people just can't live with the risk. So, you know, I'll say if you want to learn all of them, absolutely be my guest. But I'd rather you focus on your oral in for 2 weeks of Christmas than focus on another poem. That's probably not going to come up. Okay. So, okay, right. So we obviously did all our Upper Vala because I can see all the different things you wrote about it. So yes, An Tara Cír is about the 4 images within the poem. That is like the main breakdown. That is the chapter up. So it's like what is in the images is what you're going to have to write about in your Ceist Céin, okay? So it's all about so has anyone said it? So Cowell Shane Kane Ilon. I don't think anyone has said it, have they? So Kane Ilon a Tosheg Kant, or no, Tosheg Lorch we speaking about. Kane Ilon. What island? Yes, Megan, the Aran Islands. So Inishmore, so on Inishmore Ilon Aran. Cartglore. So the Aran Islands, Inishmore, like the most beautiful place in the world. So that's what he's talking about. He had to move away. He loved where he was from, and he talks about the 4 different images that he sees. Okay, so Ibrahim on. Well, actually, no, I better not say it because you're going to do it now down here for me. So yeah, when you're studying An Tara Cír, we must take note of the 4 different images in which it's discussing. Now, I always say when it comes to An Tara Cír, you're looking at 3 different things. So, na híomhana, na dachana, and na fumana. Okay, so the images, the colours, and the sounds. Okay, so like, you know, the rasping sound of the spade, iver se hin. Saversa do, the colour on famine yarig, the red seaweed, queen green under the sun, on green egg catnav, queen, you know, queen famine yarig. Verse 3, na mano I look okay, ag balu na sligon. So and they can see the skihon, their reflection. Again, like the reflection, the imagery, the colors, okay, the reflections in the little pools of water. And then egon zera the versa kahar. So na Heathgree, the fisherman, ag filo walia, ag zera on lay, returning home at the end of the day. Toda or Aaron Varga. There's a golden color on the sea. So Bernard, I knew I forgot something. Go back to the women. I was like, there's definitely a color there and I'm forgetting it. So the white, Tra one, okay, no Clucka bone. So talking about like the shelly beach. Okay, so Neil Shay like Ganyo, it's not sand, it's Schligon, so the shells. Which is where the word Schligok comes from. In case you didn't know, it comes from the word Schligon, which is shell, shelly place, because of all our Throna, all our beautiful beaches. So yeah, so the women were collecting the shells, and it's like the contrast between like, you know, the red seaweed and the white beach, and then obviously you've the golden sea, okay, Saversa Kahar. And it shows it from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. The man out planting vegetables in the field, Saversa Hain, all the way through the day to Egderon lay with Nahiscree Filla Walya, okay? Ola father. So the fisherman coming home after a long day fishing, okay? Returning home. So again, even if you can compartmentalize that in your head, like, and all you need to do then is for your Ceist dough is pull something, leave something behind from, if you want, now again, this is making things easier for you if you want, take something out of the Ceist Céin sample and put that into the Ceist dough part, right? So you're just taking one little bit out and leaving it aside to answer Ceist dough for the 6th marker. Now, when An Tara Cír came up in 2016, which I'm going to have a look at in a second, when it came up in 2016, they didn't put up the poet, right? So it was like all hell broke loose because, you know, Martin O'Dearán, they'd learned about Martin O'Dearán and they didn't put it on the paper. It was like never had been done before. It's the first and only time it's ever been done in relation to like a poet or a poem that has come up who we know who the poet is and we know about his life. But they, you know, we didn't write, they didn't ask about him. So I can't imagine if An Tara Kír is going to come up this year that if the poet's not going to be there. Again, I could be wrong, but I would be shocked because they haven't done it since 2016. And look, since COVID, they've become, you know, they're a little bit easier. They have gone a little bit easier on the students. So I would be saying, like, just learn about Martin O'Dearán for the 9-mark question. Now, to go back out here just to your Cobbleshe. To me here, I keep going into prose and it's a filioch. Right. So if you go into here, right, so this part or this PowerPoint, right, which is what the one I make for school, this here is your 9-mark question. Okay, I might just actually write that in it. Okay, 9-mark question. Okay, that is your 9-mark question. Okay, so there you have it, all the information about Martin O'Dearán. And the reason I'm showing you that there is because I know it's not in my sample answer, right? Because I answered the 2016 sample answer of An Tara Kír, and that was, so see, it was, the poet uses a lot of adjectives in the poem. Choose 2 of these adjectives and discuss the importance associated with them in the poem. Okay, so again, even if you wanted to take something from that, I do have an answer for it. Okay, you could take that and maybe use that content for the Ceist the Dó, okay? But I don't want you to overthink it. So before I actually look at the sample answer, in which I'll just be actually having a look at the Ceist the Hain part, because I don't really think there's any need for me to do the rest of it. I want to test you. So I've tried to not say too much. So, okay, so Cévé Duine atá, so tá seachtar on. Right, so can I get, so Katie and Maeve to tell me about Versa Hain, so you can scríb I Musca no the Zoom chat. Oh, now I better split the Megans because I'll only be confused when how do I do that? So maybe Nigel and Megan M, Versa Dó, Meg and Sarah, Versa 3, and then Megan W, that just leaves you with Versa a Cahir. Ceart galore. So have a go if you can, and if you can't fill it in the boxes, you can write it in Zoom chat. Maybe just in Zoom chat though, will you tell me what verse you're talking about? Well, now I should get it from what you're, but just to be sure,
Sorry, Danielle, which one am I doing? Because you said Megan M and then you said Meg, but I'm neither.
Are you? Oh,
Megan
yeah.
B.
Now, oh my God. So how many are you just Megan on this?
Yeah, Megan, yeah.
Okay, so I just
down as Meg on this.
Okay, right. So I got all confused. So Megan, so Meg, will you do Versa Hain, and then Megan, will you do, I think, did I say Versa a Dó for you? Yeah, because who is with, yeah, Nigel, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Sorry
that's fine.
now.
Sorry, Danielle, am I doing the first?
Oh my God, why didn't I write this down? Yes, yeah, you do the first one, Megan. Yeah.
Okay.
Megan M, yeah. And then I think I have Megan W doing the last one in Aina. Nigel, push it into Garfod. Now, I presume you're going to translate all of that now, are you? Or even can you give me like any of those words that you've written? Can you give me any of the Gaeilge of any of them? Like, for example, collecting is a really important word. Seaweed is an important word. Under the sun. Come on, Megan, yeah. Megan W. Omadi Rova. Yeah. Boom all, and yeah, I never even mentioned that actually. So the sounds from the oars, yeah, the lapping of oars, the Anawa ar fad. Come on, Íntac. Yeah, Maeve, Anawa deer hat Aaron glutes. Yeah, so like I always focused on the eyes and the ears. So like it's you can't really go wrong by learning that you know, even talking about that in your, no matter what type of question comes up, because that's what it is. It's imagery and it's poetry. So I'm trying to talk about the senses, okay, within the within it. Lunrock Aaron Vaman, yeah, Íntac Tondar, he was there, ha Aaron soon. Íntac ar fad. Come on. Only my leaving certs were as good as this. Telling you, if you've seen the lecture I gave them today, you'd think me a different person. Oh God, this classes like this that gives me hope. You know, I'm competent at my job. Okay, Íntac, right accord that. We are going to have a look at the sample answer now, right? And I'm going to show you the way I've broken it down. And again, when you're studying this, okay, like you can break it down again into the like, you know, into the different paragraphs. So the first bar this sentence here, right? So the first one is a grow áta príomh on Don Shaw. You can use the rest of that as like an introductory paragraph. If you don't want to write that much, that is absolutely no problem. You're not expected to. You can, what I have here in the bold, so you would, you know, address the question and you could write what I have here in the bold, and then you could go straight into the first verse. All right. And I think, look, in case they really shake things up and they say like maybe discuss like what happens in the poem in verse 1 and 3 in the poem on Tariq here. Now I can't imagine that happening, but just in case they did, right? Or they said to talk about the colors specifically or something, at least you have it compartmentalized into the different verses, it'll be easier to move things around. Okay. So the question was, in 2016, what is the main theme of the poem according to you? Discuss the images the poet uses to show the main theme, okay? Right, so the love of where you're from is the main theme of this poem. The poet has a lot of love for his home place, and this love is felt in every single verse. He gives an enticing account of the peaceful, calm life on the island in the spring. He doesn't find any fault on the island in the poem because he is under a spell by his youthful home. I understand I'm going a mile a minute. Now, so again, you wouldn't have to include all of that. And you could say, the poet gives us 4 images of the peaceful, perfect life on the island. In the different images, we see the person and nature cooperating together. And then I just have some of these images are or most of these images are focused on the ear, and some are focused on the eye. Okay. So, and again, some of them are both. Ceart Galore. So, Cicade Versa. In the first verse, there is a farmer who is out shoveling in the field, planting potatoes. The sun is shining. So sorry, that should be egg. The sun is shining and it is a beautiful day. This image is focused on the ears. Now, I've just noticed, and again, I'd be giving out now to students and I've done it and I can't do it here. Evo, image, would you please spell it correctly? I'm missing a father. I father, O-M-H-A father. There's two fathers, one on the I and one on the A. Ceart Galore. Just to be aware of that. Now again, look, not the end of the world. It's only a father and it's in the poetry section. But look, whereas if we're going to do it, we're as well do it right. Okay. So this image is focused on the ear. Nothing is heard on this quiet. Merv is like humid. Okay, Merv. Humid day on this quiet, humid day, but the rasping sound of the spade. Dias Gonach na Spadza, the rasping sound of the spade. It is a beautiful musical sound according to the poet. And then I just have my quote. The second image is focused on the eye. The poet makes great use of the colours in the second verse. We see the red seaweed shining under the sun on the bright sand, okay? Nos is a custom, okay? So, or nosana, which is customs. The farmers had a custom to collect seaweed to put on the ground as fertilizer in the spring. So, lasso is fertilizer. Years ago, they would put the seaweed in baskets and then put these baskets on their backs to carry the seaweed from the beach. So we had imper last week as a briefra, okay? So imper, to carry, and carried the seaweed from the beach. So that's versa ado. Versa 3, tá sé marangena ach tá na manoi gest sa versa show. So same thing, but the women are talking here. So the third verse is focused on the eye also. In this beautiful verse, we see the community of the island, right? So Wintris on Elon, the community, okay, camaraderie of the island. We see the women together, ag banch famina. So that's your tishel ginnajuk there, right? Collecting seaweed. Famine. So it's famine gone E when it's just on its own, but the tishel ginnajuk with the E. So we see the women together collecting seaweed on the beach when the tide has gone out. Norvi O'Diron Og, when O'Diron was young, he would go with his mother and the other women to the beach collecting seaweed. Now look, I use carrageen there. Now look, people can argue carrageen is not the same as seaweed, right? In my head it is. But if you wanted to, you can change that to famine to save you learning another word, okay? So he would go with his mother and the other women to the beach collecting seaweed. He enjoyed the women being together out under the sky, so out in the fresh air, and under the sun after the winter had gone, okay? So remember, it's about spring, rejuvenation, you know, getting back. You can imagine now, living out in the Aran Islands, a bit bleak this time of year. So again, they'd be waiting for the spring to come. And the fourth verse is focused on the ear and on the eye. This image is associated with the fishermen returning home after a day out fishing. There is a small boat on the bay full with fish and the fishermen rowing home quietly on the golden sea. There is a weak hollow, so log is weak and full of is hollow. There is a weak hollow sound from the oars, a peaceful, calm sound. O'Diron shows that he has a lot of love for his home place, Inishmore on the Aran Islands. Now, where I have in each verse where I'm like, this one focused on the ears, this one focused on the eyes, like, you know, if you wanted to take that out and maybe just keep referring to the question that comes up, you will get into the groove of it, and you will get more confident in, you know, tweaking little bits and bobs. And I think that's what I really want to see, you know, as time goes on. I want to be able to see like your personality coming through and your confidence with Gaeilge, because, you know, you have I like to think anyway that, like, you know, students who are repeating, they have that bit more of a flair because they're interested in it this time around, you know, for want of a better word. So like with regards Catch the Doe and Catch the Tree, if you want to like maybe learn a paragraph of it to bring in and maybe have in your back pocket to answer Catch the Doe, okay, you can do that, right? Absolutely no issue. You know at this stage how like to translate the notes with the app, or not the app, but the thing on Google. Okay, so again, if you're not sure, tell me and I'll show you how to do it. But yes, touch it on úsáid gur fad. So right, so Sin A, okay, on Tarek here. So like we've looked at Gavin, we've looked at Culscar, and we've looked at on Tarek here. They are my top 3 for this year, Ceart Galore, which I think are lovely. They're 3 really nice, like easy to remember poems. So they will be your 3. So 2 of those 3 are going to come up for your Christmas test, okay? And you will have to answer all 3 sections, as in like Catch the Hain, Catch the Doe, Catch the Tree, Ceart Galore. So yeah, so that's that. Right, now I want to go back, okay? And sorry, now I can move this. I want to go back and I want us to have a look at the grammar doc. Right, so I probably gave you like some really hard sentences that I probably didn't think about until I kind of had it done. And then when I was reading them like the second time, when I was reading the Obervala, I was like, oh my God, Danielle, you shouldn't have given them sentences. They were far too hard. So if it's any consolation, I thought you did really well in like trying to translate them. First of all, they're all irregular. And, you know, second of all, there's some words on there that like I wouldn't expect you to know. So, but there's just a few things that I want to show you, okay, that's going to end up being really important for you. So I went home, so you might even pick up some like words here, okay, so you could take down or phrases. So I went home yesterday evening. Hui mea walia Trinona inye. Okay, so evening yesterday, Trinona inye yesterday evening. So you can see in Gaeilge everything is backwards. She did not eat her breakfast this morning. Now the biggest mistake I've seen is some of you went near did she. Okay, so remember when it's a question or a negative, níl ein ahrú on. So it's just near plus a H, air plus a H. But the rule is when it's a vowel, níl ein H. So the H doesn't have permission. Okay, you can't put a H on a vowel. So it's just, you just fógaí, leave it. So near ishi a breakfast or modern. So her breakfast. So this is the Adiog Shalvak, which we're actually going to have a look at today. Okay, we're going to have a look at the Adiog Shalvak today now after this. Did you not hear? So this is what I wanted to make a note of, okay? Did you not hear the latest story? Now, clish is the verb to hear and it is irregular, okay? So that's why it's nar, okay? Because antoshe is an amshafata, so nar. So because you're asking a question, so nar is like the negative. I'm going to just write this in the chat box, but you can write it down as well. The negative of asking a question. So for example, air is the positive of asking a question. Nar is the negative. Okay, nar hula too. Did you not hear? Okay. Then we also have sanamshir loichruk and amshir oshnuk is not. So like nach marishan too. Narilaka. Do you not break the rules? Nach marishan too narilaka. Okay. So again, we're turning it into the negative. Ceart Galore. So that's what I wanted to draw your attention to with these. Then so they did not give me a chance. Oh, latest is it's Janie. And yeah, okay. So did they not give me a chance to get ready, or they did not give me a chance to get ready? So when we're using hug, a lot of the time, though is associated with it. Like, for example, hug me bruntanis D. I gave a present to her. Write that down. Hug me bruntanis D. I gave a present to her. So near hug she had chance done. They didn't give me a chance. Okay. Near hug me chance. So I didn't get a chance to do it. Okay. Near hug me chance though okay. I didn't get a chance to do it. So anytime you want to use it, we would use though. Okay, because it's like the masculine pronoun. Right, they came home after a long journey. This bit here I would not expect you to know. That is a hard grammar rule. We will never do it because you don't need to know it. So not be bore halfway. So Honig she the Walya, again, I just kind of wanted to get you used to thinking in the briefer nab real said they came home, Teresh Taurus, okay, ni ba'adza, okay? Now, this is a good phrase that probably you wouldn't know. I was annoyed, okay? Vi me chrosa. Now, from Coca-Milish, you can say, oh, Corona. What am I have to do in there? Hold on. Vi me chrosa. So sorry, I was meant to write this bit in Zoom chat. So, Cur Eschach Arum. Okay? Nora, whatever. So, Vi me chrosa is just another way of doing that. So I was annoyed at the loud students on the train. So very important point. I can't remember if I've said this before. Namic are uni students, okay, students in college. And then Nadalti are students in, there should be a father on that I. Nadalti are students Savon School, and then Naposhti are who you want to teach or are teaching the students in primary school. And now some people actually, if you don't say Nadalti, you can say Scalori. You'll probably see me in some of my things, I say Scalori either for secondary school. So Nadalti are no Scalori for secondary school, and then for primary they just say Naposhti, okay? But never, like I've been correcting Hibernia essays lately for students, just correcting them for grammar and stuff. And Nalani is what they're calling the kids in school, Nalani, but like Nalani are kind of like babies, like toddlers, okay? It's just to be aware of the differences. So Namiclane, which is what you will be when you get into Hibernia, all of you. And then the tallest player caught the ball. Caught is rug, right? To grab, to catch something. Okay, so rug. I just wanted to bring your attention to that. Sometimes we think grab, caught. They are kind of like you wouldn't always quickly associate them. So rug. Okay, that's what I wanted to bring your attention to there. And then in the middle of the field, Ilorna Porca, that's your Tishel Ginnenzok. Okay. Now, but more importantly than that, I want to look at the Adiok Shalva. Okay, so I'm going to come out of here. And I'm going to go into, now again, you have this in your Gramadoc. Okay, so I want to go back. How do I go back? Okay, sorry now. Okay, so the Adiok Shalvak is the possessive adjective. This is really easy once you get to grips with it, okay? You've watched some of my grammar videos. You've probably heard me talk about this already. But I'm just going to go back over it and then we're going to practice it. All right. So when you are giving possession to something like my house, your car, his brother, our ticket, whatever, okay, you obviously were given the possessions, mine, yours, his, hers, ours, yours, and theirs. You can see that there's two yours there. I always call them yours and years, okay, even though years is bad English. But it's just a way of differentiating between the two of them. Now, in Irish, those words are mo, the, or are, war, a. So it's easier to say it like are because it sounds like our. So mo, the, are, war, a. Okay, so you can see clearly there's three as there. one is his, one is hers, and one is theirs. So how do we know which is his, which is hers, and which is theirs? Okay, like how are we meant to figure it out? How we know is the rules that are associated with them, which brings me to this, okay? So basically, it all comes down to the vowels, okay? Vowels and consonants, right? So so it's the word you're giving possession to. So like, for example, chalk, corn, driftwood, ticket, lower, whatever the case, right? That's the word that's changing. That's the word that you need to be like, is it a consonant? Is it a vowel? Okay. So the first thing you need to do is, you just need to learn these rules. Okay. But I'm telling you, once you keep at it, it will come to you. It's the initial learning of it. So words that begin with consonants. So it's mahota, dahota. So ma plus a H, da plus a H. The boy will always be the first A. So if you learn it like ma plus a H, da plus a H, A plus a H, A plus quack. So the boy is always first. So A plus a H, so ahota. So when it's heard, quack means nothing. Okay. So A plus quack, as I would say, or skull. I always say, like, to my first years, like, think of the H is in her handbag. Okay, the girl's handbag. Okay. And then the last three will always take the same thing, right? So R, war, and A all take an arrow. If the word can't take an arrow, it just stays the same. Forget, leave it, okay? Now, words that begin with vowels take different rules, and this is where people get a bit confused. So you have ma-iver, da-iver, so M apostrophe, D apostrophe. Now, this is where it gets a little bit messy, right? So when it's a boy, but if I wanted to say, so for example, his number, right? But iver begins with a vowel. Níl everyone. There's no change, right? So what? Now the H is in his handbag, okay? So you just got to be really careful there, because people can get very, very confused. But again, once you learn the rules, it's not as hard. A plus, so when it's her, right, and it's a vowel, the H goes in front of the word at the beginning, and it's attached. There's no dash. The H is fully attached. So a Hannum, her name, a Hiver, her number, a Hooker, her key, a Haron, her bread, whatever, okay? And then as you can see, the last three are the same again. R, war, and A take an N fleshkin. Okay, N fleshkin, N dash. So R never, our number, were never, their or your number, A never, their number. So you can see clearly from my examples, and I used the word kota for the consonant and iver for the vowel. You can see the differences with the as, right? So ahota, akota, agota, a iver, a hiver, a niver. So you'll even see in some of my shop pictures, like of course I use the Adiuk Shalvak all the time, because I'm giving possession to things all the time. But like their homework, they did their homework. Rinna Sheed a number walya. And as an examiner in an oral situation, I need to hear you use the Adiuk Shalvak. I need to know that you know what it is. All right. So with that said, okay, well, actually, I'll show you these first. So, okay, right. Now, let me see. I need to, okay. Now, you can write it into Zoom chat, or you can take off your mic. So for the first one, is it I met with his brother, her brother, or their brother after school? Maeve, called the captain to. Is it his brother, her brother, or their brother? Think of your rules. Which one did you say?
Haven't yet.
Oh, sorry.
Right. I met with. Is it their brother? No.
Neil Shay, so it'll be, if it's their brother, it's A plus an arrow. but
Okay.
this one has a H in it. So when it's a consonant, what's the only one that gets a H? Is it the boy or the girl?
The boy.
The boy. So therefore it would be his brother.
Brother. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anawa. And sorry, because I totally put you on the spot and I hate
No, it's
when my
grand, don't worry.
does that. She's always like, and it's always when I'm like looking at something or like staring in space, she's like, Danielle, what did you get for that one? And I'm like, I'm all over flustered, all over, not listening. So the next one, I got his number, her number, or their number. Sorry, that should be egg on disco. Okay, right. I'm gonna try ask. Okay, so Megan B. Is it his number, her number, or their number at the disco?
Hers,
Well done. Why do you think that?
because it says A plus H in front.
H in front. That is, yeah, Shingadiro. That's it exactly. Onawa. And they lost, is it? I nearly said it. They lost his ticket, her ticket, or their ticket. Okay, right. Okay, does anyone want to try it? His ticket, her ticket, their ticket.
Is it theirs because it's IFAD at the end? It's more than one.
Yeah, well, but if you weren't looking at that, could you tell that it's like, because you see it's a plus an aru? So Sarah said there. So that is right because obviously it's they lost their ticket. Yeah. But what I want you to see is that because it's their ticket, that it's a plus an aru, right?
Yeah.
Because ticket is a consonant, so it's a decade.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can see now with these two, right? So this is why I put these two now at the end. So like I made my way home, we made our way home, right? So Riname Mavalok Awalya, Rinamar R Malok. So the most common way we use it is, and this is why so many people get this wrong. Again, I can't use fathers. Tome in mohoni. That's the adjunct shalva. But what I get all the time is tome in a phony. That actually means I am, she lives. Okay? Because if it was she lives, it'd be toshi in a phony. He lives, toshe in a phony. So think about it for the oral. If you say we live in Dublin, let's just say, means in a goni. Or sorry, in our goni. We are living. We comments in our goni imalya if you're just talking about them as plural or whatever. All right. So just to be aware of that. But now I know now I'm over time on my, but again, I just have one more thing to do, and then I will let you go. But I want you to practice this really quickly, okay, because I just don't want to not do it. Okay, so how many is there? Right, okay, so there's 6 of you. Okay, will you do one each? So I'm just going to do as I see you here. So Maeve, will you do the first one? So name is Anam. Nigel, will you do the second one? So Kota, Megan, will you do oh my God, I can't see, this is my brain going from Irish to English. My auntie. Megan B, our house. Megan W, their sister. And who else is there? Sarah, their opinion. Actually, Nigel, will you do year car, because you got a real easy one. Ian took Maeve. Right, Maeve, will you do my friend as well? That was quick. Come on, Ian took her fault. So yeah, house just chalk. Yeah. Mahu, Ma'antin. Yeah. Now, Nigel, your car. So that's our car. Opinion, sorry, I think, did I give that to Sarah? Tuairim, Sarah. Tuairim, Tuairim. So what's year, Nigel? Year, your plural. Yeah, no, it's not too care. Adorum, Gama, Sarah, yeah. There. Yes, Megan, so there is right, but when it's their sister, what would happen to Driftwood? So Nílain H on. So Nílain Shabuan Octo everyone. So Driftwood ND Kertlor. So now you have upper vala on the Adioch Shalbach, so not be borha. Being shiv ag clachta le lin na shachtana during the week. So what I want to bring you down to, and I'm sorry, I know I'm going over a bit, but it was because I was talking about the Christmas test and God knows what at the beginning. I'm going to just show you quickly. Now, this is one of the 6 Bs, okay? So what do I mean by that? So 6B is what we will look at for the Leibhishkinch, right? So, but it's not just, it won't always be name 2 traits of whoever the reading comprehension is about, right? And I'm going to explain that, and I'm actually going to explain that now, and I'll come back to the adjective. So 6B is the final section of the Leibhishkinch, and it is worth 12 marks, okay? So you will be always asked for 2 things, 6 marks each, okay? So that's the way it's split. So it's 6 and 6. 6 marks for the first point you make, 6 marks for the second point you make. Sometimes it will be 2 traits, but then other times it will be 2 aims. What was 2 aims that the reader had for, or sorry, that the writer had for writing this piece? 2 reasons that the writer had for writing this piece, okay? So it won't always be this. The one I'm showing you and you're going to practice for your upper violet on top and show is the easiest one in my opinion, okay? But they aren't all, like, when you get to grips with 6B, it's actually not that hard, okay? It's just you need to get to grips with it, because some teachers, we don't teach it enough, okay? We don't. I myself don't teach it enough in school because you just get so consumed by everything else, okay? Right, so let's look at the breakdowns of the marks, right? So the breakdown of marks are as follows, or are as followed. Anyway, are as follows. So 2 marks for stating the trait. So it's in a Kroga a Tom Cream, right? Then you get 4 marks for giving an example of this trait, okay? So, but now the catch here is you have to write it in your own words. So I actually was talking to an examiner during the week, and I asked her, and I was like, look, what's the crack with including the quote? Because the way I used to teach it was you made your statement, you wrote it in your own words, and then you backed up what you wrote in your own words with the quote. She said you do not lose any marks for the quote, none at all, okay? But they omit it, so they just like put an X through, not an X, they just put a line through it, okay? But I'm thinking as an examiner here, and I'm like, right, so they can't take marks off you, but then even if your answer is good, are they going to give you 12? Are they going to give you the full marks if you included the quote and you're not meant to include the quote? So my new approach to it is just don't put in a quote, okay? Because you're drawing attention to the fact that you're, well, this is kind of where I've taken my answer from. And there's, look, as a non-native Irish speaker, there's very little you can write on your, we're not confident with writing on our own, because everything in this paper is learned off. So this is like the only thing I can't physically tell you this, take you by the hand and say, this is what you need to do. So I would say don't include the quote, because you're drawing less attention to yourself and what you've actually written. So, so I've kind of explained all that there. So my advice would be to not give a direct quote, but you can use the constant direct. So I'd be saying, write your answer in your own word, then use the constant direct to back it up, right? I will show you the constant Dírach. It's a grammar rule. Níl sé Zacher for what you need it for. It's not hard, and you will need it anyway for your oral. So I will go through that with you next week, okay? So like, for example, here, like this is the constant Dírach. Deirtar sluk sa sluk go bhfuil. It is said in the extract that. So if any of you did the Leaving Cert pre-2012, pre-2012, in the old Leaving Cert, okay, like me, myself, all right, you couldn't take the answers directly from the text. You weren't allowed, right? So what we used to have to do is you have to put everything in the indirect speech to answer, okay, so you could, like, it was like you were kind of cheating the system, right? So that's, I can still remember vividly to be like writing Dorchan Thuther. I can still see it. So it's kind of similar to that, and they couldn't mark you wrong even if you had pulled it from the text, but you'd put it in the constant Dírach. They actually had to give it to you. So that's my approach on it now, okay? But what I want you to focus on now is learning adjectives, right? Because in order to describe a person, you need to know adjectives. So can any of you identify any of these adjectives? Okay. You can write them in the boxes as you go. Ian Cooker, what? Oh my gosh. I was even asking my 6 years today, I was like, you know, I'll be up now. I was like, come on, we did it for Halama book, not any clue, daku. Now, I wouldn't expect you to know the last two because they're hard, right? So, Keelwer, if you want to make note of it, is sensible, all right? Kroga, oh, mahume, yes, sensible. So, Keelwer is sensible, okay? Well, we would have probably, can't remember when we would have had that. And Kroga is brave. Oh, Tome, unsure. Brave. Now, Zihaluk is diligent, right? Which you can nearly say about anyone if you're right now reading them, if you're writing a piece about someone, they're probably quite hardworking, diligent, headstrong, whatever. So Zihaluk, okay? Diligent is Zihaluk. All right. And then Dean Volta is like firm, strong. So I would say like firm or cocky, okay? Firm, cocky, very sure of themselves, okay? So yeah, but then look, there's loads more. There is loads more, and like Kuhal is shy, but we need to think of verbs, or sorry, adjectives of how we describe people who, like, look, Lauds are strong, Clishta clever. Like, these are going to be all the different. Cowrock, friend, helpful. Okay, I feel like you would have that one, but anyway, I will write it in here. Cowrock, helpful. So this is what I want to show you, right? So what I've written here. Imahorm istina whatever a Tom Crean. So Tom Crean is a whatever person. That's 2 marks, right? Then you're going to write another paragraph and you're going to use another Nahna Kancha and you're going to say, Kamaleshin, as well as that. Istina blank a Tom Crean freshen. Tom Crean is a Y also, okay? Right, so X and Y, okay? Because, and write it in your own words. But what I'm saying is you're getting this information from the reading comprehension. So find a piece and it's like, yeah, well, that kind of shows that he's strong or he's brave. And write it in the simplest Irish that you can. Don't make things difficult. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be right, okay? And try and develop it. Now, don't worry about the constant Dírach. So if you can get me 1 sentence this week, now, ideally in the real thing, we would be aiming for 2, maybe 3 sentences per section to get our 6 marks, our 6 and our 6. But what I would say is, like, even if you just got Istina a Tom Crean, right? And you got it in the 2 sections, right? So you got it in paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Now, look, you can have it all as 1 paragraph if you want. You don't have to separate them. But just for argument's sake, right? That's 4 marks out of 12 before you've really done anything. Say then you do that for Leibhishkens B. That's 4 marks out of 12. So that's 8 marks out of 15. Or sorry, 8 marks out of 30. Yeah, right? Before you've really done anything, bar just state what type of person they are. Now, look, realistically, they're not going to be, you know, they're both reading comprehensions aren't going to be what type of person is. One of them is going to be about a person. The other is going to be like about some sort of festival, some sort of movement. It normally is. And the question will be, why did the author write this piece? And it's like, to give people information. I will give you examples of all that. But we don't need to worry about that right now. All we need to worry about is doing this type of 6B question, okay? And then the rest will come. So before I leave you, I just want to show you quickly now your homework this week, Níl Dacker, Níl Rowe. Ada, it's not very long, it's not very in-depth, okay? Because I'm giving you quite a bit to study. So write your own answer to the 6B Tom Green question, okay? I really want you to do this on your own, okay? I know it's hard, and I've been there in college where it's like, I just want to open the Google Translate app and let it do it for me. But unfortunately, Google Translate's not going to be there the day of your exam. So I really want you to try and just use your previous learned knowledge to answer it, okay? And do your best, and I will mark you out of 12 marks. And then just the clock on the Adiok Shalvak. The reason I am doing that, the reason I haven't given you a huge pile of homework is because of your study plan, right? So complete the homework. I want you, there are 2 new Shrappic tours. I have them recorded. Look at me now, being ahead of the game. I'm literally going to put them into the WhatsApp group the minute I get off this call. And I also want you to revise your opening and ending. And then obviously I've just announced a Christmas test, so no doubt you're going to be thinking about that too, because you're all such good students, right? And you are so on the ball. So that's why I kept the homework, the written homework, to a minimum, because I understand you all have lives, you all have jobs. And I know with my college, Jesus, the amount of homework they're giving us. I mean, like, look, I'll be honest, I don't get half it done with my job. So I'm trying to give you more of a balance, because you are doing great. You are exactly where I need you to be. And look, obviously after the Christmas exam, we can, you know, with some of you, if you're struggling in that, we can reevaluate and see where you are and where you need to go. So that's kind of it. And well, in Keshna again, I think the only thing we really need to discuss is the Christmas test and when we're going to have it. So I'm going to, like, you see, it's not really easy for me to put in a poll because, like, I can only give options. So maybe if you just, like, maybe if we can, like, have a discussion in the WhatsApp group of when we think, like, are we thinking maybe, for, like, look, for me, I can do most Friday evenings. I can do Saturdays, like, during the day. I'm pretty sure I'm here, like, every Saturday from now till Christmas, more or less. So, like, you kind of let me know me, or, like, you know, would you rather me send it on a, see, I kind of want it timed because I understand that, you know, I'm conscious of you getting the timing right. But you're like, look, yeah, for this one, can you just maybe send it on a Friday evening and we have like until Saturday midday to get it back to you, or something like that. But just let me know. I think we put a time on it, just give it a window. It makes us actually like sit it like a physical exam. So anyways, you can feed back to me in the WhatsApp group, have a think about it and get back to me over during the week. As always, I'll try and have the pre-learning work out to you as soon as I can, but we're on track, which is the most important. So thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. And look, it'll all pay off, please God. So yeah, so unless you have any other questions for me,